now it's kind of evolved into this second business for my husband and for myself included. And we've been going 16 months now, and we've been to 31 countries, and it's been a party.
Hey there, Mama. Welcome to the Marvelous Moms Club podcast. I'm Kirsten Tyrell, and I am the host of this awesome podcast where I get to sit down with moms from all over the world from various walks of life to share their stories of inspiration, knowledge, and all kinds of good stuff to remind you what a truly marvelous mom you are. So sit back and relax, or plug your headphones in and keep doing whatever you're doing, and enjoy today's episode of the Marvelous Moms Club. Hey, Marvelous Moms. Welcome to another episode of the podcast. This one I'm really excited for. I've said this before when I do podcast interviews. Every person I talk to at that moment is somebody I needed in like a personal way, at a personal level. And it's just cool that it can benefit anybody else listening. So I'm chatting today with Jessica G. Did I say that right?
G.
Jessica
like
G.
the letter.
I had a school teacher in middle school who was G, so otherwise I probably would have said G. Anyway,
right.
Jessica G and her husband Garrett have been traveling the world for a little bit over a year right now. You might have seen them on Instagram as the Bucket List Family. Anyway, we're chatting today. She's in Istanbul, I'm in Boring, Utah, and we're going to share their story with you.
Utah's awesome.
So welcome to the podcast, Jessica. Thanks for taking time.
Thank you.
I told her before we recorded, I just imagined in my head, like, you know, kind of when you go through somebody's Instagram, you're seeing all the highlights, you're seeing all the most exciting moments.
Totally.
So
yeah.
I'm like, she's probably just popping right out of the ocean right now just to, you know, jump on Skype and chat with me. But now that I'm here, It's pretty like, you're still normal and you still
I'm still here. I'm
you
just
still sleep
normal.
at night.
I do sleep, believe it or not.
That's awesome. So I don't know how far back you want to go, but maybe just start at the beginning, not like the beginning of your life, but how this whole crazy journey started and the inspiration behind it and kind of where, I mean, I like to know if people like kind of planned for this stuff, they visualized it to happen, or if it was just like, oh my gosh, this cool thing happened and let's do this.
It was very much just like a series of events that evolved. I don't think we had ever said to ourselves, we want to travel the world. Like we want to go around the world. Like that was never like really in our plans. My husband had a company. He started at Brigham Young University with some of his classmates, and it did really well. He ended up selling it to Snapchat, and he had just finished school and he was playing soccer and was done with that. So we were kind of at this crossroads and didn't know what to do. We didn't know where we wanted to raise our kids. Yeah, like you totally avoiding the sun.
I'm sorry. The sun's right in my eyes and I'm trying to move and she's trying to focus on what she's saying. There he goes. That's totally a little better. Okay. It literally came out from behind a cloud and it's right in my eyes. Anyway.
I just like, okay. Anyway.
Sorry, everybody.
So we were at this crossroads and just didn't, really know what to do. So that's when we decided that we wanted to do a little bit of travel. Mm-hmm. We also felt really strongly that we didn't want to touch any of the money that we made from the acquisition. Mm-hmm. We wanted to be really frugal and really wise. And so we put everything aside in savings and we ended up selling everything we owned.
Wow.
So that would then fund our, planned out 5 months of travel. So we planned for 5 months. We're going around the South Pacific. We had a few things we wanted to do, and then we're kind of flexible from there. But, my husband's a very, very big journal keeper. He always has been. Mm-hmm. So, even since the day my daughter was born, he had her Instagram and was posting daily to there. So it was just very much cute. A journal.
Yeah.
And, we started growing a following. People started following our story. I think people were kind of intrigued as to our past and history. And we came home for Christmas after the first 5 months, and we decided that we wanted to keep going. It felt really right. We were happy. We were loving everything that we were experiencing. And, our social media had kind of blown up. And so we were now trying to turn it into somewhat of a business and being influencers on social media where we could leverage our following and, promote brands and hotels and airlines and stuff like that. Yeah. So now it's kind of evolved into this second business for my husband and for myself included. And we've been going 16 months now, and we've been to 31 countries. And it's been a party.
It sounds like a party. And it also sounds exhausting. So tell me how you're holding up. Like, Do you just thrive on it? Do you wish you could
Yeah,
plant down for a little bit?
I'm doing great, which surprises me because I have always been a very average, moderate person, I feel like.
Yeah,
And so the fact that I'm doing something so outside of the box and I'm like really liking it
you're
and
thriving.
enjoying it,
Yeah,
yeah, like I am impressed with myself. I'm proud of myself.
that's cool.
Um, but it's definitely turned into like our lifestyle, and
Yeah.
that's what we've had to tell ourselves. Like when you go on vacation and you're just at the end of vacation, you're just excited to be home and be in your own bed and just
Mm-hmm.
you're exhausted.
Yeah.
We've had to learn that this is not vacation, that this is like our lifestyle. And
Yeah.
so, we still do our very best to have consistency, to have routine, so although like our surroundings and our home changes, like we still have like the same schedule every day and try to give our kids as much consistency as they possibly can in a
Mm-hmm.
very inconsistent world that they're living in.
Yeah, because it's full of inconsistencies. But I recently started homeschooling, and so I've looked into this and I've heard of people doing like world travel or world school instead of homeschool, because
Yeah.
obviously you're not just in one home all the time, and how
Yeah.
like their IQs are so much higher because they're learning things firsthand rather than just, okay, so for me, for example, I went to school like everybody else, and
Yeah.
recently, as we're starting to talk about world travel, I'm realizing how very bad I am at geography. And I'm like, oh my goodness, can you imagine if I'd visited those places? And I know that's not realistic for everybody, and that sounds so crazy to most of us. But I'm so excited with the prospect of teaching them cultures in real life instead of just out of a book. So
Yeah.
I feel like that reality, even though it's totally
Totally.
different from how you grew up, does not make it,
Oh, totally.
you
Well,
know.
it's been funny. It's funny you say that because we're here in Turkey. We're in Istanbul right now. And I'm talking to our tour guide, and he's telling me these things about the Ottoman Empire and the Byzantine Empire and then Constantinople and just all these words that I like heard in history class growing up
Yeah.
that like went in one ear and out the other.
Yes.
And now I'm like, oh my gosh, like I get it. Like this is cool that I'm like
Yeah.
now getting finally. I'm 30 years old and I'm like starting to get world history.
Right? Yeah,
It's cool.
that's such a cool benefit from it. And I'm sure your kids are, I mean, aside from how exciting it is, they're going to just know so much. They're going to be such a vault of information whether they want to or not. It's like that absorption is just going to happen because they're there. And
Yeah,
and it's
hopefully.
it's so cool that you guys have been charting it too. I mean, that your husband's a journal keeper, that you guys have been putting this on YouTube, because I feel like even though for, everybody who can't necessarily jump in and have that lifestyle, maybe hearing it and seeing it is just a little bit different than reading it out of a textbook.
Totally.
So I love that
Totally.
you guys are sharing those experiences with everybody and not just keeping all the fun to yourselves. And how cool that
No,
you've been able to leverage that to turn it into kind of like your job. I mean, it's your job to travel now.
yeah, yeah, which is really, really cool. Not very many people get this opportunity to travel the world, let alone with your husband and your children. So
Yeah.
we feel very, very blessed every day that like we're getting these experiences and we get to do it together.
Hmm. So how long do you guys, I mean, how far out does your plan go at this point? Is it like you go month at a time? I mean, how long do you typically
Yeah,
stay
we definitely kind of
places?
go month at a time. We plan to be in Europe until the end of the year, where
Hmm.
we'll go home, and by home I mean we'll go see our family
Hmm.
in Utah and Colorado for Christmas, and then I mean we have quite a few things planned into next year with Philippines and Fiji and Tonga and some different places. So
Yeah.
I would imagine we go full time for almost another year. And then I think my husband and I both want to put our daughter in school. We had a very like typical, wonderful childhoods where we
Hmm.
could, run around and play sports and had really great friends. And we really want that for our kids. And
Yeah.
I mean, I am loving everything we're doing. I think the hardest thing for me is seeing my daughter not have the interaction that I wish she did.
Hmm.
So that's
It
the
kind of needs
hardest.
to go in like maybe spurts too. Like you guys could take a little bit of time off to set down some roots. Do you think you'll ever travel to this
Exactly.
capacity after maybe a couple years of
Yeah,
stability?
I don't know. I don't know. I was literally saying like earlier today how cool this would be to like literally duplicate this when our kids are like 14 and 16 or something like
Yeah.
that. Like it would be a completely different experience because
Right.
there's quite a bit that we don't do because our kids are so young.
Hmm. That's true. That's true. Have you guys had people like come along with you on part of the trips at all so that you have friends
We
to do
have,
things
and
with?
those are always our very favorite weeks.
I bet.
We had some of our best friends come and join us in Antigua, which
Cool.
may have been one of our least favorite countries,
Mm-hmm.
but it was one of our favorite weeks because we were with friends.
That's awesome. Because everything's
And
more fun with
we've made
friends.
some really good, oh, totally. We've made some good friends, especially just even on social media. I had this girl reach out to me um, from Berlin, and she said we have kids the same age. We both have roots from back in Utah. Like, we'd love to get together if you ever here in Berlin. And I was like,
Cool.
oh, I don't know when we're going to be in Berlin, but you're welcome to come and join us. And next thing we knew, they ended up flying and meeting us in Malta. So
Oh
we
my
just had this
gosh.
random family with their two kids our exact same age, and we made great friends with them. So
That's awesome.
yeah, it was fun.
We might be the next ones to jump in with you in some
You're
random country.
you are totally welcome anytime,
I'm
anytime.
serious. I'm dead
I'm so
serious.
I'm that's why I tell you we had complete strangers come with us
I
in
love that.
Malta. So
Okay, so
pick
let's.
a place and let us know.
Okay, that sounds good. I like the places you're planning on going next year, so that would be an awesome
Okay.
start.
For reals, yeah. Let me
You can
know.
give me all your ways because I recently made friends with a girl who was like, "There's really cheap airfare to Thailand right now. You should totally come, and we can do the podcast interview in Thailand." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I want to go so bad." I mean, our whole family could fly there for a few $1,000s, a couple thousand,
Yeah.
and I was like, for our first trip to be 24 hours away, I just don't know if I'm ready for that. Going from kids
Yeah,
who've
that's
never
heavy.
traveled, that's a lot, right?
That's pretty heavy. Oh, it totally is.
I mean,
Yeah.
your kids are probably used to it now, but I mean, yeah, how many flights? Do you know how many flights you guys have taken?
I mean, probably over 75, I would
Wow.
imagine. As with some of like the ups and downs and layovers and whatever, like
Yeah.
it's probably around that. And they're very great travelers, but we do our best, and we've been hopping gradually
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
as much as we can. So it's not, we haven't had many, 24-hour days. I think we've
Mm-hmm.
only had two of those.
So it's
So
more fluid. It's like you're not starting
yeah,
over here and then jumping to the other side of the globe. You're kind of slowly making your way around, which is cool.
totally.
That's
Which is
awesome.
another reason why we don't really struggle with jet lag or anything, because
Mm-hmm.
it's just gradually,
It's
an
like
hour or two
driving
at
across
a time.
the country for a little bit and being in a
Totally.
different time zone. Yeah, that makes
Yep.
sense. That's cool. So I kind of jumped ahead. Tell everybody how old your kids are, and they are so cute, by the way. I've only
Oh,
seen
thank
them a little
you.
bit, but I'm like, no wonder you guys have a huge Instagram following because I would follow you just to see your cute kids. They're so cute.
Oh, you're sweet. Manila is 2 and Dorothy is 4
I love
next
it.
week. 4. Yeah.
So exciting. I love that they're so little and I hate that they're so little. It's like you said, you need to go when they're older because they're not going to remember
I
like
know. Yeah,
nearly as much as you are going to remember, if any.
totally.
I'm sure
It's
Dorothy
nice.
will.
It's nice that we're not really like, missing out on schools and stuff like that. But
Yeah,
then at the same time, like they're, I can't wait to go scuba diving with Dorothy. I can't
yeah,
wait to, like do some of these like big hikes with like everybody, because we
right.
don't do a lot of hikes because we don't want to carry our kids up a mountain. So,
Okay, that's
uh,
another thing I was going to ask. Like, how adventurous do you guys get? Because that's another reason with our kids. Mine are 6, 5, and 2, and I'm like, how much could we really do in these places? Do we go ourselves first and then bring them to our favorite spots, or like,
mm,
do you feel like there's been a lot you wish you could have done? Like, you wish you had a nanny or something so you could do it, or have you been able to finagle it?
yeah. I mean, it just depends. Every stop is very different. When we first started, we actually did have a nanny with us,
Mm-hmm.
and which allowed us to go out with the whales in Tonga. And my husband and I went out every day and left the kids with a nanny.
That's
Um,
awesome.
but then after a little while, we decided that it was a little bit too much for us, and we just wanted to be alone. And so there have been other stops where we, find a local, or our hotels provide someone for us. And then, oftentimes we don't get to do things. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, we really don't do a ton of hiking, but I would say in every stop, my husband and I are able to go out and do some sort of adventure, whether that's even just scuba diving for a few hours, or,
Yeah.
going rappelling or something. So we still try to be as adventurous as possible.
That's cool. So tell me about the preparation. When you're planning, I mean, you guys were only planning for 5 months, and then this has turned into a little bit longer than that. But I know
Yeah.
watching some of your earlier videos, I was trying to hear like the beginnings of this journey, and it just, you started out by just skydiving locally, just getting the
Yeah,
adventure
yeah,
bug.
yeah.
That's so cool.
We we probably, I think people might be kind of shocked to hear how little we were prepared.
No, I
I made
actually like
sure
that.
to get whatever immunizations I thought we needed
Yeah.
and visas and that kind of research. But like we really, were flying by the seat of our pants, and I was
Hmm.
booking flights out of a country the day we were arriving into a country. And but we also wanted that flexibility. We wanted to be able to say like, wow, we really like this place. Let's stick around for a few weeks.
Hmm.
Um, or something like that. So we didn't prepare as much as I think a lot of people would want, especially being,
Yeah.
I don't know, mom. You kind of want to like have that control
Hmm.
and know what's going to happen, but we were not very prepared.
That's exciting though too, because it made it more of an adventure. And I'm sure
It
as
did,
time's gone on, you're
and
more
it
prepared now.
we really appreciated the flexibility, and that's
Yeah.
kind of what we wanted it for anyway. So,
Yeah.
and with kids, you need that flexibility because you don't know if they're going to like a place or if it's going to be a good fit for your family. And
Hmm.
if you need to say like, all right, like let's pick up and go somewhere else, like then you can.
Yeah. So I feel like going, trying to absorb that into the brain, like the ability to travel to all those countries. And I know you guys did really well selling software to Snapchat. I mean, that's amazing. And probably was not on your planned list. Like, we're going to become extremely wealthy. And then we'll see
Hmm.
what happens from there. But it's awesome you guys just set that aside. So it makes it a little more realistic. Like, I was talking to a friend yesterday about how, oh, when I'm a millionaire, I'll do this and this and this. She's like, you'd be surprised how little money you actually need to have the life that you really want. It's not
Right.
like you have to have $1 million to travel the world. It just means you travel in a more luxurious way.
Sure.
So, like, I like that you kind of just sold off your stuff and planned it very modestly. And I know now you guys are getting like, you're getting paid to kind of travel and getting help with different things. But when you started out, I mean, how much, I don't even want to say how much money do you need, but is it pretty surprising how little you need to travel when you're not having to pay like living
Yeah, I mean,
expenses?
when we first started, the first 5 months when we were spending our own money, we learned, that, and you can travel on any budget,
Yeah.
and it just depends on like how high maintenance you were. And, we were a little bit high maintenance because we had kids and we wanted to stay in nicer, I would say comfortable places.
Right.
Um, so I have written a blog post that kind of spells everything out.
Mm-hmm.
And it basically says this is how much we sold everything for, this is how much flights were, this is how much food was, this is how
Okay,
much we
cool.
spent on daily expenses. We tried to, never spend more than $100 a night on like housing or accommodations and, $50 a day on food or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But, that money went far and
Yeah.
we traveled a ton, and a lot of it was like, we spent a big chunk of that money, diving with whales in Tonga. So, I think people would be very surprised how far money can go,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was getting at. Like, it's not, and I'm sure there's places that you can stay longer and spend almost nothing
Oh,
compared to
totally. Yeah,
places,
yeah, yeah.
you
And so
know.
if you do go to Thailand, like you can have an incredible vacation for very, very cheap.
Yeah.
There are places like Thailand or Bali or, you know, South America where you can have these really cool vacations,
And you're
for
not
very,
spending hardly anything compared to like,
yeah,
starting in Europe and going to Paris where it's going to be gone a lot quicker.
yeah, 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 yeah. So there have been, stuff is very much evened out for us. But there are some countries that are very expensive and some that are not. So you just got to find what's in your budget.
Yeah. How brave have you guys been in immersing yourselves in like the culture as far as food and just different things? Have you guys kind of kept it
I mean,
pretty?
we've been, we still try to try as much as we can. We had haggis and black pudding last week in Scotland, but at the same time, like we didn't have a ton of street food in some places. Like we didn't want to get sick, so
Yeah,
like
yeah.
so we are pretty cautious like as to that. But the kids are great eaters. Dorothy knows the family rule is you don't have to like it, but you have to try it at least once.
Mhm. That's awesome.
So we try things, but
What's been the weirdest thing you've eaten the last 16 months?
I don't even know. I'm not a seafood person, but
Okay.
I've been converted to seafood.
Really?
not all seafood, but like I'm proud of myself that like I'll order fish now, which I never would have done before.
That's amazing. Maybe there's hope for my husband when we start traveling.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll get him
There's
converted.
get him some fresh fish and
Yeah,
someone who's how to cook it.
it's probably all the difference in where you get it and how it's prepared.
Exactly.
Costco fish is probably not the best way to convert
Yeah,
somebody to eat fish.
that's totally.
That's so cool. I love your guys' story. It's so exciting. It's so interesting. And I can't believe you've done it with kids that are so little. I mean, how old were they when you guys left? If it's been 16
Yeah,
months.
Dorothy was what, 3? Yeah, not even 3. And then Manila was 1, almost turning 1. So
Wow.
yeah, they were little and they've grown a lot. It's been really fun to like look back at old videos and like see how little they were.
Yeah.
Manila had just learned how to walk.
Oh my gosh. That's so crazy. What a fun time.
Yeah.
Have you had any family meet up with you in different places, like your parents or anybody like that?
Uh, we spent, one of the things we're trying to do is figure out where we do want to settle down. So
Mm-hmm.
one of our stops was Portland, Oregon, which we had never been to. We spent about 6 weeks in Portland, and we had family come to Portland,
That's cool.
and that was fun. But then we've had some friends join us in Antigua. We had some friends last week with us in Scotland, and in Tonga. So we've had some friends. We keep telling people to come out and visit us, and I don't know why people don't take us seriously.
It's because you're too exciting. They're like, wait,
I
she's
don't
not. They're just
know.
saying that. They don't mean that, but or it requires so much more mental preparation. I think when you're not
Yeah,
in that mode
yeah,
of travel.
yeah,
Just like my friend, like just come to Thailand at the end of November, and I'm like, it's the end of October right now. Oh my gosh, can I do that?
yeah, yeah.
It's a little bit overwhelming, but that's awesome. So how much did you guys do stateside before you left the country? Do you feel like you've done a lot here or not very much?
I mean, we've traveled quite a bit in the States. We have family all over. We've been out to the East Coast. We've been down to, we've traveled a bunch, I would say, in the States.
Yeah.
But we're not really, I wouldn't say we're road trip people. So we haven't really done like the cross country type thing. So, but I mean, that's a great way to travel, and
Yeah.
like there's so much to see in our own backyard that,
Yeah.
I can definitely see us one of these summers just, sucking up our fear of road trips and just doing it because there really is some incredible stuff to see.
Yeah. If worst comes to worst, just like hire a helicopter pilot just to like, you know.
Just like hop.
Yeah.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. Or like we'll get our like pilot's license or something like that.
Yes, because you can totally do that because that's your life now. I'm surprised you haven't done that yet so that you can just jump on your own
Yeah.
plane and fly.
Oh yeah, maybe that's something we should consider.
We can do that together. We'll plan on that in a couple of
Okay.
years.
All right, sweet. Yeah, let's go get our pilot's license together.
My husband would die. He can't even ride on a four-wheeler with me. He's like, I have not got you on my life insurance yet. That was one of the first things he said to me when we were married and we went camping. He's like, you're not on my life insurance. You can't drive this four-wheeler. So you can see we've got a little ways to go
You-
to jump into world travel. I don't
That's
think he'd
amazing.
ever get in an airplane that I was flying, and I would definitely get in one he was flying. He's very safe. He's a very safe driver to the point where it's kind of like driving with your grandpa, but it's okay. He keeps us safe.
That's good. That's good. Well, I'm the designated driver in my family, and I do not love it.
You
I mean,
don't?
sometimes I like being able to be in control, but at the same time, like sometimes I just want to like take a nap. And my husband actually has a really minor level of narcolepsy, so he like can't
Wow.
drive for more than like an hour or two.
Oh my gosh, or he will
So
fall asleep.
he will fall asleep. Yeah,
Wow.
the kid cannot stay awake. So and then even if like I'm lucky enough to not drive, then I'm still like awake, keeping him awake.
Right. It's not like you're really getting a break.
Yeah, so that hence the reason we are not road trip people.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Have you guys taken trains, or just planes?
No, we've done some trains. Japan has some really fast trains, which are awesome. And
Yeah.
then we haven't done the European trains, though. It's just easier to fly for us. With so
Yeah.
many bags or, like bigger bags, I don't
Yeah.
want to put 6 bags, 6 pieces of luggage around me on a train.
So tell me about the baggage. Tell me how much you guys have and how, I mean, because you're moving so much.
So we currently we're in the process of eliminating a bag, but we currently have 6 bags.
Mm-hmm.
2 of which are camera equipment. One is a bag of health supplements and a blender.
Nice.
And then the others are just like clothing
Nice.
or, but we travel with a few things. We travel with, my husband has his wetsuit. We travel with a mask and fins because my husband always wants to be in the water at all times.
I'm surprised he's not just swimming across the oceans to get
I
to where
know
you're
he
going.
would prefer that. He would definitely prefer that. We've kind of had chapters, as we've called them. Our first chapter was the South Pacific. Our second chapter was the Caribbean, and now we're in our third chapter. But I mean, we spent 6 months at the beginning of the year in the Caribbean, and
Wow.
that just wasn't enough for him.
Oh my goodness. He's totally a
he
fish.
he is a fish. He wants to be in the water at all times.
Have you guys been in the Great Barrier Reef? I'm sure that you have. Did you guys go to
No,
Australia?
no, we didn't. Well, we went to Australia, but we didn't make it up there. That was when we realized that we can't see it all. That was when we realized we need to chill out, give our kids
Mm,
a little bit more stability, stay in places for longer.
yeah.
So we spent basically 3.5 weeks kind of slowly moving up the coast and spent some time in Sydney, some time in Byron Bay, and then we left. So we definitely need to get back to Australia and for
Yeah.
sure see the Barrier Reef.
Why don't we plan on meeting there? Because that we asked our kids where they want to go, and the first thing they
Perfect.
said was New Zealand. So we're like, okay, New Zealand and Australia. We'll start there,
Perfect.
stay there for like a
Wait,
month.
are you scuba certified or anything? Do you guys dive?
No, but we have to. Like, that's going to
Okay.
be
Oh
on the
yeah.
list of
Yeah, you
preparation.
have to. Okay. Yes.
There's
For
no way
sure.
I'm going to go there and not be scuba certified. Like, there's just no way.
Totally.
Although it's gonna be a fun little transition because the first time I ever snorkeled in Hawaii, I screamed, and people like on the beach could hear my screams coming out of my snorkel because
Your tube.
yeah, because I was seeing like so many different random things I'd never seen before. So I cannot imagine what my world's gonna be rocked. I'm a little bit nervous, but it'll be exciting.
You'll love it. It's a dream. It's like a whole different world. It's cool.
Yeah, it is a whole different world. When we lived in California, looking at the ocean and just knowing like there's literally a whole world out there under the ocean that we never
Yeah,
see. It's
that you never
crazy.
see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is cool.
So, what's your favorite part? What's been your favorite part as a mom to do this with your kids? Like, what was maybe, you can even say like your favorite experience, favorite place you've been with them to see through
You
their
know,
eyes too.
I don't know, like we have spent a lot of time together, so
Mm-hmm.
much time together, and I would be a stay-at-home mom either way, but seeing my kids grow so much,
Mm-hmm.
especially having documented it, and like it's been a real treat to see my daughter, have to learn bravery and have to learn courage to make new friends and have to put herself out there and watch her try new foods and watch her overcome fears. Like that's been really cool to see
Yeah,
that, many moms get to see that, but I know not a lot of dads get to see that. And so
that's
it's been
true.
really great. I know for my husband too, spend so much time with our kids in such young years and watching them develop
Yeah,
every single day. That's been a really cool thing that we've been able to see.
that's amazing. So, going forward, when you guys do plant down some roots, has he enjoyed just making the videos and creating the documents? Like, I mean, now that you guys don't really have to work, is he gonna do something to work? Does he love still doing what he
Yeah,
does?
he's a creator and he always has been and he always has projects and things. And so I know he has many things up his sleeve. So as soon as we decide to take even a little break from this, he'll be working on many, many other projects. So
That's
I'm excited
cool.
to see what he does. Yeah, he's a hobbyist and a hard worker no matter what he's doing. And I wouldn't even say he never calls it work. Like he's always just kind of playing.
Yeah. That's isn't it a cool like time that we live in right now though that you can truly like follow the stuff that you love and that you're passionate about. You don't just
Oh,
have to do
totally.
it just to do it.
Totally.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
So, okay, we're almost done, but I just want to get to know I've heard you guys' story and your travel and don't feel like I know a ton about you. So, you said in the beginning you're such a low-key person that to be able to do this, you've been really proud of yourself to put yourself out there
Yeah.
and live so freely. So, I mean, when you married your husband, you had to know like he was a dreamer, he had this ability to
Yeah.
create. What has been your favorite part that you've played in the whole thing? I mean, watching it all unfold, but what is your favorite part of creating it as well?
Um, I think just doing it together has been really
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Um, like you said, I knew my husband was a hard worker and was gonna like be successful at whatever he puts his mind to. Like it doesn't matter if it's journal keeping or, a tech startup. Like he's gonna be successful. So it's been fun to see that all unfold and to be a part of it. Especially because I would consider myself the moderate one. And I think a lot of times the wives are like the logistical one, like the realists that are like, wait, honey, hold on.
We're opposite, actually.
We can't. Oh, are you?
We're totally opposite. I'm the one who's like, can we leave tomorrow? And my husband's like, maybe next year. I'm like, that's too long. I can't wait that long. Let's just do it. But that's good. It's good to have that balance, don't you think?
Definitely need the balance. So, and that's kind of how our relationship has always been, is my husband wanting to run 5,000 miles an hour. And I'm just like, slow down. Let's think about this.
Jump out of the ocean for a minute.
Yeah, totally. And so, we balance each other out really well. And I think we both know that we need each other.
Yeah, I'm sure that you do. I can't imagine. If he was left to his own devices, you guys would have visited all the countries by now. He would have. I don't know. Yeah, he might have just stayed in Tahiti the whole time and then never left. I don't know. Yeah, or that stayed in one place because it was just so amazing.
Yeah.
That's cool. Well, I ask everybody at the end of their interview what makes you a marvelous mom. So we jumped into this so quickly because you had an internet connection and here we are. So I didn't even give you time to think about that. But if you had to answer that.
Oh my gosh. Makes me a marvelous mom. I think just
Did you hear his laugh?
My husband just giggled.
That's not nice.
Marvelous.
Have him answer it for you. Ask him what makes you a marvelous mom.
How am I a marvelous mom, babe? Huh? I think I'm trying very hard to do something way outside of my comfort zone right now, while, doing the thing that is most important to me. So like still putting my children and my husband first while, doing something that's definitely not in my comfort zone.
Yeah.
So and I'm doing it and I'm pretty proud of myself. Like it's hard and I don't think a lot of people could or would want to do what I'm doing right now. And so I think I'm just proud of how far I've come in the last 16 months.
That's amazing. I would have said that was probably the ideal answer for you too. You answered it in the very beginning.
Thank you. Okay.
Well, you guys are awesome. I'm so excited. We'll have to stay in contact. And you guys have a giveaway. I was going to mention that too. You have a giveaway that's almost announced, and probably by the time we air this, you will have announced the winner.
Well, one of the things that we do and our biggest goals with this all is to give other people the opportunity to travel, because it means so much to us. So earlier this year, we gave a trip to the Bahamas. We're doing right now to Dubai, and we're actually announcing a new one next Monday. So hopefully to be doing lots of this and giving more and more families the opportunity to travel.
That's so exciting. I'm excited to find out who the winner is, because I know one of the contestants and I hope she's the winner, but we can't make it seem like we're twisting it in her favor at all, right?
Right.
This is all kosher, you guys. If she wins, it's because she was meant to win. I don't even know what the criteria is, but I hope she wins because I love her guts. So anyway, thank you for taking the time to chat with me all the way from Istanbul.
Oh, thank you. Let me know when you guys want to come join us.
Okay, I will keep you posted. And everybody else listening, have a marvelous day, and we'll see you on the next episode. Something that I failed to mention on my interview with Jessica is how service-oriented she and her husband have become. And something tells me she probably would have played it off and been really modest about it. But I've really learned a lot more about them since interviewing Jessica, and I think they're amazing because not only do they give travel to families who could otherwise not travel, they've given the gift of LASIK surgery, a trip to Disneyland, and so many other silent acts of service. So follow along with them on Instagram. I truly think they're phenomenal people, and I cannot wait to see where life takes them even beyond their travels. Also, make sure you're subscribed to the Marvelous Moms Club podcast if you haven't already. Go to iTunes or your podcast app on an iPhone and hit subscribe so that you never miss a single episode. We truly have the best of the best here on Marvelous Moms Club, and I don't want you to miss any of the phenomenal stories from mothers all over the world. Have a great day.